Today's villain is a tale of extreme evil, and yet it's one centered on a man that isn't ruled by it. Hannibal Lecter is a cannibal that isn't ruled by hunger. He doesn't wake up with ill intentions to harm others, he doesn't care about ruling the world. Whether he's helping an FBI agent track a serial killer or feeding a guy his own brain, that is just the earth revolving around the sun to him. Cause when you pair one of the worst childhood traumas you can imagine on a bored genius, you got a man that believes that there is no justice, no meaning, no God. And well, when he saw the blank canvas of value, he realized he could paint on it as he deemed fit. But, like a moth drawn to flame or an itch you can't help but to scratch, the same trauma that forever changed him also molded the path of atrocities he ended up walking on. Hannibal is the perfect example of Albert Camus's absurdism gone rogue. And so, can you eat Fallout New Vegas as Hannibal Lecter? On very hard difficulty and with hardcore mode on. A tickle to the brain and a weird dream later, and this courier too thought his sister was really hot. But much like Hannibal, all he could do was to blow on the broth to cool her off. Doc Mitchell doesn't look like a snack, and for the special, I'm gonna go with 18 intelligence, agility, and luck. 7 charisma, 5 endurance, 3 strength, and 1 in perception. I only gave him high agility in case I'm in a pinch and need to use VATS, and perception is useless in New Vegas. Those two are simply for gameplay. As for the others, I think they fit him quite nicely. His best skills are speech, melee, and medicine. And the trait that most define him is skills. I also chose build to destroy, but that's because I want that extra crit damage. And while I'm not gonna restrict my clothes and armor, I'm only gonna use weapons that Hannibal would. Short-bladed melee, cleavers, knives, straight razors, and switchblades, but since I'll be going for the Dine and Dash perk, it's only fitting to add something that could cut through the bone, like a ripper. Now, I can't just go running around poking people with a knife while saying om nom nom. We need to get to level 4 and get the cannibal perk to truly get this run going. So as I loot all the food, drinks, magazines and whatnot, and chase easy and early XP, how about we go for a quick recap on Hannibal the Cannibal.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Born in Lithuania in 1933, his father was a descendant from the warlord Hannibal the Grim. His mother descended from 2 families that had separately ruled the Duchy of Milan. They lived in a castle. Hannibal was a brilliant child, devoted to his sister, Misha. During World War II, they were forced to flee to the forest, where they lived for 3 years surviving on the animals they encountered. Until one day, his parents were killed. The siblings were taken captive by the deserters who, starving, killed Misha, ate her, and served her to him. The trauma shattered Hannibal, leaving him mute for a short time. From that day forward, he was stripped from any belief in God, humanity, or justice. After the war, the castle was converted into an orphanage. Hannibal, he only ever lashed out at the bullies. He was actually rather patient and understanding of the younger kids that teased him, even if they treated him like a crazy mute. Soon after, as the news reached France, Hannibal was taken in by his uncle and his wife. Immediately he fell in love with her. One day, a butcher insulted her. Hannibal snapped, attacked them. His uncle had a heart attack seeing everything unfold and passed away on the scene. Enraged, Hannibal murdered the butcher, his first kill. In secret, after hearing Lady Murasaki's chef talking about cuisine, he sliced the cheek of the butcher, used a couple mushrooms, and we've had his first act of intentional cannibalism. Between his cunning intelligence and Lady Murasaki's help, he managed not to get blamed for the kill. As time went on, he excelled in his studies and became the youngest to ever be admitted to a school of medicine in France. But he also recognized one of his father's old paintings for sale in Paris. He knew the deserters were still alive. He went back to Lithuania, found his sister's remains, gave her a proper burial, and found the deserters' dog tags. And so he hunted down every single one of them, taking brutal revenge, eating some more cheeks, and he got caught. However, there was no proof, just hearsay, and since these were war criminals, some of which were also slavers, there was no incentive to go through with the trial. If anything, there was support for Hannibal. Nothing came out of it. Years later, now as an adult in the United States, and on the surface, Hannibal looked no more than a cultured gentleman embraced by the society surrounding him. He became a world-renowned psychiatrist, although one that didn't even consider it to be real medicine. He funded his luxurious lifestyle by manipulating his own patients into leaving him inheritance. Now, beneath the surface, he was a remorseless sociopath who killed and consumed those he judged unworthy, inferior, or to serve public justice. He was never ruled by hunger or anger. Hannibal ate the rude and patsies. And there is a lot more to Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs, but for this, we just need his background. Clarice isn't exactly a run-defining character for us. Anthony Hopkins' acting in this role will go down in history as one of the very best performances ever. As for the NBC series, I haven't seen it. I heard praises, but most importantly, I read what Anthony Hopkins told Mads Mikkelsen when he wished him good luck. And so I quote, "The key is, when playing a crazy man like that, is to play the total opposite. Play him as totally sane, play him as ordinary. Don't try to be evil." Now, I was unable to rescue the Good Spring Settler from the geckos, which would have gotten us 3 bottles of purified water, but at least Cheyenne survived. A couple sips were enough to regain my health. Sunny talks about the harsh reality of living in the wastes, thanks us, and has another task for us. I already have some Xander roots, just need to find some rock flour for us to craft the healing powder. But before I do so, I'd like to go to Sloan and grab the skill books. The powder gangers won't be happy with me before long, and I would rather not having them shooting at me on a melee build. There wasn't really anything of note in Gene. I took care of a coyote just so I could gather some more food, and Chumps got a warning for us. There's Deathclaws up north, but I'm just here for the easy XP around, Sloan's map marker, and here's Snuffles, she's a cutie! I patched her leg, got me the skill books, couldn't repair their generator, stole some caps, went back to Chomps for some NCR fame, and drank some sarsaparilla because of my carry weight, and noticed that they were making me thirsty. Well, now I know. Back in Good Springs, I went to the schoolhouse, took care of the giant mantises, got me a handful of magazines, hacked my way into a stealth boy, and that got me to level 2. I put the points into speech, cause with 70 we'll be able to get that terrifying presence perk which really fits Hannibal. And I took the confirmed bachelor perk. 10% extra damage against men is way too useful to ignore. On the way to the cemetery, the bark scorpion poisons me, but that's okay. The poison will go away on its own. The bloatflies are extremely weak. I got the snow globe, the cigarette butts Benny left behind, the rock flower, and went back to Sunny. Made some healing powder. She wants us to introduce ourselves to Trudy, and it's nighttime. As I'm trying to spend the night on a nearby trailer, Malcolm Holmes interrupts my beauty sleep. He wants to warn us that a man named Alan Marks is going after people with blue star caps. Malcolm doesn't know about it, and I'm not gonna go after it, but Alan's dead. In the Sunset Sarsaparilla HQ near a unique weapon that we cannot use. So I just went back to sleep, had breakfast, bought some more supplies from Doc Mitchell and Chat, and Joe Mama's done being nice.
I'm done being nice.
I repaired Trudy's radio for a whopping 9 XP, told her to cough up some more caps to make it worth my time, waited for Cobb to put himself in position, and stole his stealth boy. As I'm glancing through the weapons I've gathered so far, the knife seems better than the cleaver or the straight razor, and the knife's atrocious. And we need a lot more XP, so I made my way to the Good Springs cave and defended myself from the coyotes. New locations, enemies, I really need all the XP I can get. Plus, if we're lucky, we'll find some things we can sell later. Coyotes by themselves is one thing, but in a pack? Well, that's a lot more complicated when all you've got is a knife. I couldn't clear the cave. And even getting out of it was annoying, but that was just because of a quick save I did.
I'm only human, bro. Perhaps I made a mistake.
Outside, Victor shows up.
I saved your life, so I kind of feel responsible for you is all.
Usually, he shows up if you tried to go north into Cazador territory, so I can only guess I got too close to the edge of the cemetery. Either way, I kept on going through some more lone coyotes and into Good Springs sinkhole. The Devil's Gullet. That's another location, ammo, one Hydra, and another Star Cap. In the Yangtze Memorial, the game threw me a bone, the Rat Scorpion didn't show up. First time that happened. I got a plasma rifle to sell later, got some goodies from the abandoned shack, and if I can't even deal with a pack of coyotes, I don't even want to think about the pack of geckos from searching for Barton Thorne's non-existent wifey. Instead, I'm just gonna go deal with the couple ones on the way to Lone Wolf Radio. The young gecko hunter confirms my worries about the pack of geckos past the ridge. It wouldn't go well. And in the trailer, we get another skill book and another knife for repairs. And since I'm here, I might as well just go and get Prim's map marker. The NCR trooper tells us that the town's been overrun by escaped convicts from the nearby NCR correctional facility. I found the steam pack, went back to sippin'. You can just keep the key pressed to keep on drinking water to heal, and I've got an idea for both the coyotes and the upcoming fight against the power gangers. Near the gas station, there's a hill. Atop that hill was a single coyote. And on the other side, we can drop down near a grave. Chance's grave. I got a shovel from Chat earlier, so we can get Chance's knife. A unique combat knife that fits a crit build like a glove. Ah! There's too many cazadores around to walk back, so I'll just fast travel back to the cave, and this time, I absolutely destroy the coyotes. By the end of the cave, we see exactly what Sunny meant when she said that Doc Mitchell treats plenty of gecko bites. That's cause the average settler actually has a chance against the geckos near Good Spring Source. A pack of coyotes? Not so much. The loot did nothing for me. I spent the night on Easy Pete's house, ate, drank, and made my way to Ringo. He gives us a pack of caravan cards. I tell him we can help him with the men that are after him. Loot some more, cause the more food we get now, the less I'll have to scavenge later. I also found the doctor's bag, and it's time to go back to Sunny.
Say no more. I'm in.
She doesn't need convincing. She knows the powder gangers won't leave Good Springs alone. And Joe Cobb was quite rude, you know what I mean? But just like she says, the three of us aren't exactly a force to be reckoned with. We can get some more allies. I convinced Trudy with a speech check she'll gather some men for the fight. I had to read an issue of the Patriots cookbook to convince Easy Pete. He'll share his dynamite with us. I can't use it, but I got the XP. Chad just needed a barter check, and Doc Mitchell just hands you 3 steam packs. Though through a medicine check, he'll offer you a couple doctor's bags on top, and we're ready.
Time to look alive. The powder gangers are here to play.
Once the fight starts, I just hide behind the crate, let the settlers get some shots in as the powder gangers get a bit closer, and my recording software crashed. Great, we won. Chance's knife obliterated them.
Have the lambs stopped screaming?
I got paid and accepted by Good Springs, then fast traveled to Prim. Since there's nothing else worthy to be farmed around Good Springs, the slaughter in Prim begins. Slowly but surely, the 2 convicts by the Vic Invest Casino go down. Johnson Nash, the head of the Mojave Express, tells us all we need to know about the job we had when Benny intercepted us. And he confirms that the deputy, who's been taken hostage, seen the men we're after. Near his house, we see Courier 4, Daniel Wyans, and inside, I kinda wish I could have Eddie tag along. I got me some of Ruby's casserole and made my way into the hotel. Seems we're perfectly fine taking 2 enemies at the same time. And even though these guys are quite weak, it will be interesting to see how we fare against the convict's leader and the rest of his men. I also got the extra supplies that were behind the locked door, ate a ton of maize, and clicked on a medics by mistake. A happy little accident that didn't cross my mind, but that I have no intentions of correcting. This'll do just fine. And so, before it wears off, I run! Like the pint-sized slasher going berserk. The less time I give them to react, the quicker their numbers go down and the sooner we turn the tide. Thanks to several critical hits, the whole ordeal seemed to go my way a lot more favorable than I expected. Especially since the medics doesn't affect our output. And at the end by the kitchen, there's the deputy.
I don't suppose you came here to rescue me. I'd cross my fingers, but my hands are numb.
Beagle's getting freed, I got the purified water and some more food, the skill book, and Prim's getting a sheriff so we can reach level 4. Myers is by the powder gangers and they hate me, so that is out of the question. And between NCR Rule or Prim Slim, the robot won't be looking into my hobbies. So that will be a quick trip back to both Good Springs houses and Sloan's machine shop. 4 conductors and 3 fission batteries later, Prim Slim's the sheriff, and we finally level up. I got speech to 70, put the rest of the points into melee, and took the cannibal perk.
You know, I believe we're making progress.
Unfortunately, all the escaped convicts despawned. However, Joe Cobb's still in Good Springs.
It is important, she always used to say. Always to try new things.
Past Prim and buy some sad slugs, we'll find a weapon repair kit and a free stealth boy just there for the taking. Just gotta soak in some radiation as we're climbing the hill to Jackrabbit Springs, and by Nipton, Thomas and Jacqueline are having a bit of a scuffle. Well, Thomas was quite rude in the previous run, and I'll need to satisfy the munchies with precisely 25 bites for the in-game Dine and Dash perk, which will allow us to, prepare some hamburgers for later. As for Jacqueline, she's lying to her face, and that is rude too. We can point out that she doesn't even know how many star caps are in the necklace. And that has her not wanting to leave any witnesses behind. Fortunately for me, we've got a big stomach. And chances dive. She goes down. I get their loot, and we feast.
Yeah! Who won the lottery? I did!
Oliver.
Smell that air! What lottery? The lottery. That's what lottery. Are you stupid?
Am I stupid? Am I stupid? Devour. Thomas too. In Nipton, the town's on fire. Literally. Boxcars right here won second prize to have Ed Sheeran write a song about him. And when your legs don't work like they used to before, it's pretty fucking stupid to insult me to my face.
Don't worry. I won't have you lashed to a cross like the rest of these degenerates.
A furry in a skirt then reminded me of Buffalo Bill, but Vulpes was actually quite nice to us. And his quest is pretty easy, so I'll just be taking the XP. The Legion's barbecue is of no interest to me, for now at least. And to get to the Mojave outpost, I just had to fight a couple ants. A traveling merchant bought things I can't use. I also got some 8 items. And Sergeant Kilborn's reaction is telling.
There's no way. We're miles from the Colorado. They aren't even waiting for the dam to fall.
That is 135 XP. I go back to Nipton, and I'm not gonna let perfectly preserved strange meat shish kebabs go to waste. Not when I'm after the Dine and Dash perk. I then follow the Legion in order to avoid the ambush and the grenade launcher guy, and oh, what the the bark scorpions don't care about them, just me? Weird. And easy. In Wolfhorn Ranch, there is a skill book and a unique cleaver, Chopper. And in Searchlight, Aster tells us that the town's now cosplaying as a microwave. By going through its northern side, this time I actually avoided every single Ghoul Trooper. Sniper's Nest is nothing but free XP. I still got the Star Cap, even though they're just fun to collect, and near Cottonwood Cove, we see Anders. He wants me to cut him down, I cut him up, something must have gotten lost in translation. Well, itadakimasu. That gets me to level 5, that's points to melee, and I also wait the other guy. Approaching the cove makes a Legion explorer ask us about our intentions. Obviously, we are but a humble trader passing through. And that nets me another skill book, the Legion Patrol Notes, and another unique weapon, Recompense of the Fallen, which I'll just sell later. Back to Aster, and he wants us to bug the Legion's radio, which is unguarded. So a couple clicks later and...
This is more than I could have hoped for. Almost seems too good to be true, but the details are all here.
It isn't. I'm just being extra careful and going for a ton of experience. Plus, Anthony Hopkins' advice was just to play it normally. Well, despite me wanting that perk, but still, you get what I mean. I make it back to the ranch, spend the night, hydrate, make me a big breakfast, and start heading to Novak. Along the way, an NCR trooper gets obliterated by a Legion patrol. Snuffles' cousin goes to heaven, and I avoid another ambush by going around it. Past Ranger Station Charlie, we've arrived. Dr. Ada Strauss heals my rats for 100 caps. I steal the medicine skill book from Ranger Andy's bed. One can only wonder the sort of medicine he's giggling himself to sleep to. And I'm just gonna take Manny's holotape. You know, instead of going through the Nightkin and ghoul-infested hellhole that is Repcon.
God damn it.
The man we're after have gone to Boulder City. But since we're here, I might as well help Boone avenge the death of his pregnant wife. He knows someone sold her to the Legion cause he saw her being taken. He followed them. Then, he pressed the trigger, so she wouldn't become a slave. Anyways, he gives me his beret. I go into his bedroom to steal a combat knife for future repairs, slip a hand into Jeannie Mae's pocket for the keys to her safe, invite her for a midnight walk, and Boone gives her a new haircut. Then I made sure no one was watching, cause I got peckish.
Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit if it ain't my old friend from Good Springs.
You're a biscuit. Not now, Victor, I'm busy. The bill of sale was in the safe, alongside plenty of cams. Boone's been avenged, and I really wanted him to tag along, but he is no Clarice. And no, I'm not gonna call him Will Graham and pretend he would do what Clarice did in the book. More on that later. For now, the jog continues. Through Gibson's scrapyard. Healy is one, and the Eldorado gas in service where we rest up some more. I nodded at the lonesome drifter. Private Kowalski wished me a good morning, so he will be fine on this one. And we meet Lieutenant Monroe. He's got a situation with some great cons. The same cons we're after.
What does he do, this man you see?
We offered to mediate the conflict, to try and release the couple NCR hostages from the cons, because we really want to talk with them.
You're that courier Benny wasted back in Good Springs. You're supposed to be dead.
Yeah, well, I got better. In conversation, we are clued in to what really happened. It was supposed to be an escort gig. For them. Things played out the way we know they did, and Benny betrayed them. Took the chip, too. A 45 speech skill check is enough to tell them that if they release the hostages, we'll get the NCR to stand down. He obliges, gives us Benny's lighter. As a souvenir, I get to level 6, keep improving melee, and take the lead belly perk. Hannibal needs a strong stomach. Outside, the lieutenants got orders to take them down. The cons honored the deal, were pretty honest with me too, so I'll appeal to Monroe's morals. Now, to meet Benny, we'll have to get into the New Vegas trip. But first, I'm just gonna make a quick trip to Hoover Dam to grab the snow globe. On the way to the 188 trading post, Victor once again shows up. Yeah, definitely not following us. I did some more trading, made a slight detour to the Eldorado substation for the map marker, got to level 7, improved medicine and melee, and there's no enemies from here until Freeside if you stay on the roads that lead there. I got a ton of map markers and went straight into the Crimson Caravan, cause over here someone's grateful.
Hey there. Here's the rest of the payment I promised you back in Good Springs.
In Freeside, I visit Mick. He repairs my hockey mask, which I have no intentions to wear, it just reminds me of that one Hannibal scene. Oh, and Mick's got a Ripper, which I want, so I buy it. Outside, a group of thugs were taught a lesson, and after being well fed, I've decided to do a good deed and help the kid that really wanted giant rat for dinner.
Thanks, mister.
And I also went for the snow globe in the old Mormon fort. Now, there's something else I can try and get, the Meat of Champions perk. But for that, we'll need to consume the King, Mr. House, Kaiser, and Kimball. So, let's begin. Pacer tries to shake us up, but we can just say we're here to pay respects to the King. Ideally, I would just go over there and do it. Realistically, not only are there too many people around, but Rex would destroy me in a heartbeat. I also want Sergio's unique straight razor, Figaro, so I'll just preparing a huge supper. Through sneak crits. The wandering kings and the groupies never knew what hit them. As for the ones near the stage, it's gonna require some shenanigans. As long as the game doesn't see me do it, I should be able to continue. And it turns out, I just have to forego that. Pacer, however, can see me even with his head turned. Well, that ruins my plans. And so I tried to berserk it against the king, but there's not even enough sneak crit damage. Even when Rex and the singer don't see me, so that's a bust. I did manage to take down the singer, not because the king was looking away, but because I wasn't on the king's line of sight. Video game logic. And since I cannot take down the king without Rex and Pacer coming at me, we'll have to do it the long way. We introduce ourselves to the man, and he tells us that Rex hasn't been feeling well lately. And taking into account his cute little nose, yeah, it's probably the lingering smell of death. Anyways, by helping the king now, Pacer will leave the School of Impersonation momentarily later, and if need be, I can always test having Rex on my side too. Our first task is to investigate a bodyguard, Ores. He's been escorting people to the New Vegas Strip gate for twice the amount of cops the King's charge. I get the 200 cops needed, we go to Oris, and he takes us on the job. Midway, he recommends a detour, and he's such an amazing gunman that with 3 shots, he takes down 4 thugs. We can call him out on it, he makes an excuse, and upon further inspection, yeah, that's the scheme, they are just playing dead. Approaching the gate makes Old Ben warn us about the Securitron cop check. The toasters help the squatter do a backflip. I go back to the king and tell him that Oris is a fraud. For the second task, there's been some tensions in Freeside. Some people were attacked, and we are to figure out by who and why. In the old Mormon fort, we learned that the attack was done by the NCR.
Now that I think of it, he said Lou something with a T. Tenant, that's what he called him. Lieutenant.
Back to the king, and as we give him a hand, I'm thinking we should help him until the very end. The more relaxed he is, the more tender he will be. Now, to confront the NCR and get to the bottom of this, he sends us to Julie Farkas, who's friends with Major Kieran. She tells us where to find her, they ask for a password, but that's for handing out supplies to NCR citizens. We can just pass a speech check saying we're here to talk with the Major. I still got the free supplies though, but most importantly, we discovered that the NCR sent an envoy to the king so they could coordinate a relief effort. An envoy that was brutally beaten. This doesn't really add up, and before we reach the king, Pacer intercepts us. He says the king doesn't need to know about this, and I even get 200 caps to stay silent. Pacer leaves and, well, I lied to Pacer, obviously. The king doesn't much care about the NCR giving food to their own people and truly didn't know about the envoy. Then one of the other kings comes in running, cause Pacer gathered a couple men and went on to show the NCR how fast bullets can fly. We're sent to de-escalate. This dumb motherfucker's the reason why 2 of his own folk died and is just cowering. Fortunately, the Major believes us when we tell her the truth. The NCR stands down. The king says that we get one favor. If we want it and he can give it to us, he will do it. And I got to level 8. I improved sneak and took the terrifying presence perk. As for that favor, well, I'm just gonna ask to join the kings. I'll be the only one of them left once I'm done. And I don't need the money. Plus, I don't know if I'll need this for a little something. Rex. Up next, we should help Rex. Or rather, Rex should help me. Julie explains that his brain's the issue and that while they cannot help him, she knows someone that might. A doctor. In Jacobstown.
You promised to get Rexy here to that doctor, and I'll lend him to you. What do you say?
Oh, I promise. Then we learn that Rex hates rats and hats. Probably because they rhyme. What matters to me is that he doesn't seem to mind when I take down Pacer in front of him. This just might work. We nibble, and we do the same thing with the king, and sometimes things really sort themselves out perfectly. I finally got the Dine and Dash perk, which means the courier's back to being more in character with the Hannibal persona.
Most serial killers keep some sort of trophies from their victims.
I didn't.
No. No, you ate yours.
Rex did not give a fuck about the king. We've gotten a brain with a dog, and we're getting close to meeting a certain someone.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner.
I truly think Hannibal would have loved Rex. Maybe even tasted him, but jokes aside, Hannibal would have been extremely curious about him. So I'm keeping him.
Oh, I'd love to get you on my couch.
After taking care of the other unnamed kings, the Securitron wants to make sure that I'm not broke before entering the Vegas Strip. I show him money's not an issue and... Victor.
Howdy, partner.
He wants us to go and meet Mr. House in the Lucky 38 right away, but I've got my own plans. First stop, Gomorrah. I'm not taking any chances, so I'll just stock up on some chems in case I'm in a pinch later down the road. And Billy's got jokes.
It's hard to sleep in this place, I tell you. Last night some girl was pounding on my door all night. Finally, I had to let her out. What?
Okay, I got the free magazines and we made it to the tops. I immediately go to Swank, use both speech and the clues we've collected to tell him that Mr. House is not going to enjoy knowing that the head of the chairman plotted to steal the platinum chip I should have delivered to him. Swank's not stupid and he does like the casino life a lot more than the memories of wandering the wastes with Benny and the others. So he hands me the keys to Benny's room to see if we find anything else, and we do. A whole Securitron that cannot say no. Yes, man. We learn the entire plan, go back to Swank to tell him the news, and I'll just confront Benny myself.
What in the goddamn?
Love your suit.
He wants me to go to the presidential suite, and he'll go there later. Yeah, I'm not falling for that trick. I told him to lose the bodyguards and come with straight away. He obliged. Over there, he explains the entire plot. The chip is the key to ruling Vegas. Control the Securitrons. Upgrade them. The world's yours. It is an interesting plan, especially because there's not really an endgame faction that would be okay with a cannibal. I don't need to explain the NCR. For House, that would just be bad business. And Kaiser only wants the White Gloves as an ally to get into the Strip. I am not trusting the guy that made a deal with the Great Khans, only to crucify one of them for dealing chems too close to his territory. It's not what Kaiser says, It's what Kaiser does. Plus, I like the idea of opening a new clinic as the sole ruler of New Vegas. Also, I betrayed Benny. That got me another level up, I improved sneak, and the only reason I betrayed Benny was not what you were thinking. It wasn't for revenge. I was just testing to see how in the world I can get to the locked door in his bedroom. I know there's a way, but I guess him not aggroing is what messed it up. Oh well, I wanted to show that cell to you, and commands exist, so we're gonna do it anyway. Though, to be fair, the only thing we're gonna find is miscellaneous loot and walls. There's some explosives, some junk over a couple different crates, but what's interesting is that Benny blasted his way onto a section of Vault 21. It's connected to the tops, and it's the escape route he uses. The place isn't huge. It's not akin to a vault, but the cell is a lot bigger than you'd imagine if you were seeing it for the first time. It's also quite empty. And at the end, we see another locked door. It does need a magic keyword, and it seems that it leads nowhere, but if you fall through it, you spawn inside Vault 21. Since I'm here, I might as well grab Sarah's key and get the snow globe.
The eyes of the mighty Kaiser are upon you. He admires your accomplishments and bestows upon you the exceptional gift of his mark.
Outside, Vulpes shows up once again, this time in a fancy suit, and with an offering. The Mark of Kaiser to grant us safe passage to meet the man himself. Before I do so, might as well make the rounds, and so past a couple raw hamburgers that became oh so tender. I grabbed Abilene, found the lucky stealth boy, and here comes George, the boomer that's not really part of the boomers. He wants to make a bet, and I always forget to come back for my money, so yeah, I'll just do things on my way for this one. As for the bombardment, it seems the Fallout gods were with me on this one. I didn't even need to use a steam pack, only got hit twice, and even then, barely. Yeah, going towards the left hill does it, but sometimes the gate guards got a lot more accuracy than others. We end up meeting Mother Pearl, the psychopath.
I've been waiting a good 5 years for an outsider to come along and visit.
I wonder why. Perhaps the warm welcome?
How very thoughtful.
Over here, there's a little something that I've got the perfect skills for. To heal their patience and satisfy my curiosity. I did need a medicine magazine for the last one, but that's fine, and in the hangars. There's plenty of combat armors that I'll be taking and repairing. I'll also be giving Mr. Cuddles to Lindsay.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. After bartering with the gun runners, and before we reach Red Rock Canyon, I decided that I really wanted to test Chance's knife against 3 named fiends and to complete 3-card bounty. Why? Because we'll be taking their heads, and I thought I'd come up with a cheek joke. I didn't. But it would have been cheeky, so yeah, all you're getting is a bad pun. The first couple fiends went down quite easily, especially with the help of Rex. As for Driver Nephi's gang, as they were going down one by one, the game let me know that I better repair my weapon. And right, as I quick-saved, after doing so, Nephi brings Rex's health to its last leg and we lost Rex. I took my revenge, his head, but the damage was already done. I finished off the last 2 remaining fiends, and when going after Violet, I saw firsthand that I didn't stand a chance against her and the entire kennel. So we'll come back later. I kept on going, just had to deal with a couple fire geckos, and in the canyon, we just need to get past the map marker and near the arena. I got the turbo and medics they had laying around as well, and we can convince Jack to start selling 8 items alongside chems.
Oh, you're right. I should start a side project making meds to keep my aura clean.
I bought some more medics, informed Diane that I already found Anders, full stop. He's dead, full stop. Well, I didn't lie. Now they know. I mean, I did lie right after, but the bit where the Legion found him and crucified him, that was true. Then I fast traveled back to the 188, asked Samuel to repair some of my gear, bartered the bit, took a nap, and Veronica's about the closest thing we've got to Clarice. In the books, Clarice runs off with Hannibal, and it's kinky and weird as shit, man, but let's just say she's into family roleplay and leave it at that.
No, I came because I wanted to.
I'm not gonna lie. It's a gift. Well, thanks for taking
People will say we're in love.
And in Sloan, I made a beeline to the machine shop once again, this time for scrap metal and sensor modules. As for Jazz Wilkins, she's got a question for us.
Let me ask you a question. What's the tastiest thing you've ever eaten?
If I tell you, I'm afraid you won't even try.
Well, No accounting for taste, I guess.
After stomping a couple scorpions, Veronica is my ticket to get into the Hidden Valley bunker.
I'd like a large atomic shake and a double Brahmin burger. And easy on the agave sauce this time.
An explosive collar is not exactly immersive for today's character, at least not around his neck. Over here, we just need to talk with Ramos. That's it. I repair my combat armor once again, grab some extremely specific miscellaneous items from Nellie's, and I'm going back for Eddie. Never said no companions, and I'm hoping you wouldn't mind them on this one. I mean, it is very hard on hardcore, and I did go for the ones that would have made sense. We had the dog with a brain, Clarice, and Hannibal loves trinkets. Hell, now that I think about it, I could have gotten a katana. I didn't, but I could have, because of Lady Murasaki. Anyways, in Fin territory, I am hell-bent on finishing what I started. Violet soon goes down, especially because every single dog is on the other side of the junkyard. Sure, the companions helped, but of course, that once I bring reinforcements, I end up not needing them. This got me to level 10, I kept improving sneak, and took the finesse perk. Dined and dashed, and as for Cook, I made sure to go after Queenie first. This causes him to go on a berserking rampage that'll have him attack even his own men. I'm then reminded that Chance's knife is completely useless against armor. Thank you, New Vegas, for letting me know this will be junk against Lanius, but I did get me that Reaper earlier. If it can cut through bone, it can cut through metal. And so we dine and dash some more. Major Dathri gets 3 heads, I get 270 XP. The NCR now accepts me, and in the cove, I tell Lanius to start rowing. They force me to disarm, they even take my stim packs, and near the big man stand, we can use our wits. Hey Siri, play Baby Shark. So this NPC can does only use 1 Brockflower per Xanderroot instead of 2. Veronica and Eddie cannot accompany us into the tent, and here's Kaiser. He goes over every single one of my achievements and goes on about his lifelong dream of feeling the ground shake. We're tasked with destroying whatever's in the bunker under the fort, and on the way, I'm gonna steal Sergeant Teddy and give it to Lindsay.
Thank you.
In the weather monitoring station, we get all of the forbidden items back. The chip opens the way to the Securitron vault, and Mr. House is pissed that we spurned his invitation. Now he gets to imagine how we feel. Not only has he been keeping an eye on us the entire time, he couldn't even let us in the strip without the hassle of having to gather 2,000 cups for the cup check. Alas, we're gonna do things his way. I'll let Veronica deal with the first Protectron, but it turns out the knife's pretty good against these Protectrons and turrets. These aren't like the Brotherhoods, though they are still pretty annoying with the melee build. As for the last room, I just run, upgrade the Securitron army, and dip. This gets us to level 11, I rounded sneak to 80, medicine to 60, and who's all happy and giggly?
I felt the ground shake a while ago.
Kaiser now wants us to take Mr. House out of the picture, and since we've got the same goal, I might as well get XP for it. So, in the Lucky 38, Victor opens the doors. An NCR trooper's been sent by Ambassador Crocker for a meet and greet that I'll ignore, and first thing I do is to grab the last snow globe that I care about. Jane gives me 12,000 caps for them. And then I complete the delivery of the platinum chip. That's another 1,000 caps, I level up, and for no reason, none whatsoever. Other than zeros and ones being silly, the game returns you the platinum chip. After improving medicine and taking the ghastly scavenger perk, yep, I'm just gonna use that chip to access Mr. House's control room and take everyone's favorite cyborg mummy out of his pod.
Why have you done this?
I'm hungry.
I think I'll eat your heart.
Dude actually tanked a couple hits, and I don't know about you, but if I had to guess, come on, that's gotta taste stale as hell. Back to Valdi, I'm disgusted that I only got 90 XP and now he wants me to convince the boomers. Well, you don't really have to do that, you can just whack Loyal, then Pearl. She tried to run, but there was no use. Kaiser didn't care. He also didn't give me any experience for it. And now he wants me to forge an alliance with the White Glove Society.
They used to be cannibals. I expect that information can be used to manipulate them.
Really bad migraine? Wants us to come back tomorrow. And it's finally time to meet some exquisite, quote-unquote, former, end quotes, cannibals. We can also meet Heck Gunderson. It seems his son's gone missing. We'll look into it. Upon meeting Marjorie, she absolutely refuses our alliance proposal. Unclean barbarian, she calls the Legion.
Anytime the White Glove Society is mentioned in the same breath, It sullies our good name.
As for Heck, it seems he's here to negotiate the sale of livestock. The White Glove Society thus pride themselves in their chef, Philippe. Unfortunately for Heck, and unbeknownst to Marjorie, this genius of a chef is about to turn Ted Gunderson into a delicacy. Basically, they lost the person they targeted and had no clue Ted was Heck's son. Anyways, we can tell Marjorie that it's okay, we're cannibals too.
You disgust me. How dare you say such a filthy thing in my establishment? I ought to have you arrested.
Huh. Well, to Mortimer, who's actually interested in siding with the Legion.
Looking to elevate his social status, is he? I'll admit, I could see benefits to living under his rule. Certain transgressions he'd be willing to overlook.
No, he wouldn't. He just wants a foothold into the Strip. Do you really think Kaiser's making an army of brainwashed 16-year-olds? Making all the women focus on baby making and babysitting so these dipshits could keep on nibbling perfectly good slaves? He's pragmatic. Evil? Yes, but pragmatic. To him, the ends justify the means. Having a bunch of cannibals around in House's Strip, that is useful. It leads to chaos. But in a Legion-occupied Strip, there is no chance in hell. Also, his plan is to have the Omertas attack the Strip during the second Battle of Hooverdam, which we know they do, and fail miserably because if we listen to the NCR emergency radio during the endgame, that's what the NCR reports. Anyways, I told Mortimer that we too have peculiar, yet exquisite tastes. And he goes on to explain that the main course escaped, so they got a replacement. And it just had to be the worst possible candidate, Hex's son. They need to undo that mess. And that job falls on to us. We can, of course, just offer one of our human companions to the Ultralux, but why would I give up Clarice? And in the kitchen, behind a locked door, we find Ted.
My daddy's gonna kill all you bastards once he finds out what you done to me.
Well, then I'll just make sure you don't live to tell him.
If you didn't kill him, then who did, sir?
Who can say? Best thing for him, really. His therapy was going nowhere.
Read the room, man. In what world would making threats like that help you out? Back to Mortimer, we can tell him that Ted simply wouldn't listen to reason. I suppose they can just start cooking, and we still have to frame Heck. It's not like he would just leave without his son, or like he wouldn't blame the White Glove Society for it. So we'll just splash a bit of ketchup all over his suite, and oh yeah, right, I forgot the dude had bodyguards. I'll let it rip. I don't think they were into Beyblade growing up, and we just have to dirty the sink and the bed sheets. Then, gotta tell a Securitron that Heck's the one that did it. A long conversation later between the two, Hex, having none of it, pulls up a gun, and the Securitron deals with our only loose ends. Mortimer's happy, he even offers us a discount, and we're told that tomorrow night, after their fine dining, he'll just tell everyone what they just tasted, including Marjorie.
She just needs to realize the only difference between savage and sophisticated is the proper seasoning.
We become idolized. She doesn't have a clue. I wait a day. And did Mortimer succeed?
I certainly did. Philippe created an extraordinary amuse-bouche from the flesh of the Gunderson boy. Everyone at the banquet loved it.
And they didn't even invite me. But well, we've succeeded in reverting them all back to cannibals, and Marjorie changed her tune.
I have heard Caesar has a stately dignity about him. And I understand his policies will agree with our new menu.
Yeah, as long as the Strip's ruled by House, of course he doesn't mind cannibals in the Strip. No, well, can't say that I like the competition or not having been invited for that dinner. And like I said, Kaiser is not a good fit for the clinic I intend to build here on the Strip. Neither are these guys, so it's my time to have dinner, and then supper. Marjorie and Mortimer, dined and dashed. And how am I gonna find a way to get the Meat of Champions number 3? Great question. The Reaper counts as a holdout weapon. They don't take our stealth boys, and I'm just hoping that does it. Also, if I don't send Veronica and Eddie to the Lucky 38s, it will be near impossible to keep them alive, so I'll be doing this one on my own. Reporting another failure to Kaiser once again gets me no XP. And now Headache Boy wants me to destroy the entire Brotherhood of Steel, which would lock me out of Clarice. Can't do that. This won't do. I'm gonna reload to when I entered the tent. There's something that I want to try. Vulpes goes down, and as long as I'm hidden in VADs, The Reaper can take care of the Praetorian Guards without anyone caring or noticing. Everyone's dropping like flies and they don't even know, even the mongrels. I then went for the Waldmeister, here comes Lucius and he got the best of me. So I try it the other way around, first Lucius and then... here comes Kaiser and his annoying glove. Took me a few tries, and I don't have my stimpaks, and my limbs are damaged, and I have no clue how to leave the fort, but we've done it. Also, the answer is actually surprisingly easy, just didn't come to my mind immediately. I tried using the stealth boy to get away, that was an abysmal failure. I tried to find a safe corner where I'd be in caution or even hidden thanks to the stealth boys, but it was just impossible to fully escape the Legion's gaze. So what worked? Faction attire. I changed into Kaiser's armor, stepped outside the door, and no one reacted. Thinking NCR faction would help me later with Kimball, I went to Camp McCarran and got some off a guard. Then I gave the good news to Yes Man, got Veronica and Eddie back. We got our happy boy in the big man's screen, and he gives me a kick in the nuts. What do you mean the NCR hates me and they won't let me within 1,000 feet of Kimball? Why? I can only assume I helped the Legion a bit too much. That's a bummer. I really wanted the Meet of Champions perk, not for gameplay, just, you know, it's an extension of the Cannibal perk.
Still one aims to please.
At least the NCR faction got me in and out of the substation to install the override chip and to fast travel back with no issues. And we're ready for the second battle of Hoover Dam. I did consider leaving Veronica and Eddie behind, but I'm not used to doing runs on very hard, so I'm giving myself leeway on this one. Especially because it does fit Hannibal.
I have no plans to call on you, Clarice. The world's more interesting with you in it.
And once again, I'm gonna be cautious. Let the Legion and the NCR wear themselves out, even though it's only the Legion that's aggro. So, once the initial little standoff was coming to a close, I got myself into battle. The Ripper melted the Centurions, the Legionaries followed suit. And in the offices, I can just lie to the NCR heavy troopers by telling them that Coronel Moore's in need of backup. With that, we installed the second override chip, this time to grant Yes Man control over Hoover Dam. Then I rerouted the power towards the Curitron army, and in the east side of the dam, I just had to run until the Legate's camp. The Curitron almost blew me to pieces. But one by one, all of the Praetorian guards were taken care of. And it's all been for this.
An envoy of Vegas, yet you carry yourself for battle. If so, you cannot truly be of that city of cowards.
Lannius. And since I have them, we might as well make a cocktail of bad decisions. From medics to Psycho to Stealth Boy and whatever else, I get a little buff. The Ripper ignores both damage resistance and thresholds, which is just a complicated way of saying that it doesn't give a fuck about your armor, or in this case, Lannius's. We feast. I finish off the remaining Praetorian guards, get to level 14, put melee to 94, take the fast metabolism perk, and here comes General Lee Oliver, doing the slowest of walks. Going over nearly every single swear word in the English language, the cigar is a lie, I pop another stealth boy, take the general down myself, devour him, and can you beat Fallout New Vegas as Hannibal Lecter? Of course you can. As always, remember to check the playlist for more challenges and the channel for more videos. If you want to help me out, you know what to do, which buttons to press, and I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Withall, to John Walker and to Glitchdale for their support of the channel, and to you. That's right, we got a new channel member. Welcome, Glitch. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, I hope I'll see you on the next one, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.
And I guess I'll see you around. We accomplished a lot together. It was fun. Take care.